Hey everyone, this is Dr. Drizzle and welcome to Food Chemistry Challenges for Students. Today we're going to talk about dancing pasta, strawberry DNA extraction, and we're going to plan ahead for some rock candy. Now, I'm not much of a cook. It's not because I can't, it's because I really don't enjoy it that much. There are other things that I like to do. But during this pandemic, I have found myself spending more time in the kitchen, not just eating, but looking around to see why things happen. And I have these wonder questions. So after looking at some Facebook memes this week, I noticed that people like to play with their food. So I thought, I will too. So my wonder questions for this week are, I wonder if I can make pasta dance. I wonder if I can get DNA from a strawberry, and I wonder how I can make my own rock candy because I love rock candy. Well, I decided to try it. So here is my try for dancing pasta. I looked up on the internet for several different directions, and since they were all nearly the same, I just chose one that seemed to fit the materials that I had in my house. You know, we're not getting out much right now. So I had to reach out to my sister-in-law, Amy, who happened to have some baking soda on hand. So I used baking soda, white vinegar, water, and some organic pasta. Shh, don't tell the kids. I think it was for dinner tomorrow night. So I took the directions. I measured out everything I needed to measure. I put it into this really tall vase so that it wouldn't explode, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. Those pastas just sat there. So I wonder, why didn't my pasta dance? I wonder if my container was too large. I wonder if my pasta was too oddly shaped. And then I wondered, did I add the correct ingredients? So I decided to make some changes. I looked at my ingredients and I had those correct. I checked the measurements and they were good. So I changed the size of my container because I watched some videos on YouTube and noticed that the gases, the water, overflowed and mine didn't. Would that make a difference? And I changed out the pasta because I really didn't want to use Molly and Nick's pasta again. And I just used regular old spaghetti. Oh, and I didn't use the food coloring because I couldn't see very well. So let's see what happened next. So why did it happen better that time? I'm not sure. I'm going to need your help. I did find out this though. The chemical equation for all of this happening is located right here on the slide. But basically, for someone who is not a chemist, I know that the CO2 gas stuck to the surface of the spaghetti, and the density of the spaghetti and the gas together was still less than that of that water solution. So those pieces rose to the top. You might notice in that second video, all the pieces went to the top, so I just gave it a little bump on the table and watched them dance up again. So trying to make a real world connection, because normally we just don't sit around the house making pasta dance. And I thought about taking Oliver, our grandson, swimming. We give him swimmies or water wings. Well, I read that they act on that same principle. Those water wings add to the volume of Oliver, but without increasing the mass considerably. And it allows him to stay on top of the water. Something to think about. So what do you think made the difference? Why did time number 2 work? I bet you're saying, oh, I'm really sorry she failed the first time. I am too, but I've learned something. In fact, we know the Mythbusters say fail means first attempt in learning. Second attempt in learning is when you can start to sail. So what do you wonder? What questions do you have? When you do this experiment, how will you change it up? Will yours work the first time? I hope so. Strawberry DNA extraction. I love science. I'm not perfect at it. I learn every day. I read a lot. And again, during this pandemic, I watch a lot of TV. These are some of my favorite science shows. And yes, Sid the Science Guy is there too, because Oliver really likes it. I try to find as much value as I can in learning because I'm old. I know older than you, but I still learn and I love to learn every day. And I wanted to know more about DNA, so I kept looking for those great science. Oh, yeah, I'm going to call this a science show. I know it's drama, I get it. And yes, there are some good-looking doctors on there. But they talk about medicine all the time. And did you know that their scrub nurse is a real scrub nurse? And she's there to help everybody make sure they're talking real science because these are just actors. But the other night they started talking about DNA and how it works. And I thought that was interesting. So I found an activity to figure out how to extract DNA from a strawberry. Before I start though, I have a wonder question. I wonder why DNA is important. And even more than that, what is DNA? So I found a kid-friendly and me-friendly definition that DNA is the material that carries all the information about how a living thing is going to look, how they move and function, and each piece of information is carried on a different section of the DNA. And these sections are called genes. DNA is short for deoxyribonucleic acid. Say that 5 times fast. And it is in every cell of every living thing, including you. But I'm not going to check your DNA. And notice there's a little video for you to check later to get more information about DNA. But could I extract it from something in my kitchen? I'm going to try. So in a plastic cup, I made my own DNA extraction liquid. Now there are many recipes out there. But again, they all look about the same, so it makes me feel good. I added all of these things together: detergent, salt, water. Here's what I didn't have again: alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So I called Amy. She had some. Before I started this entire experiment though, I put that alcohol in the freezer. Why? Because they said to. They said it needed to be very cold. So I mixed all of these things together, and this is what it looked like. And then I put that strawberry in a bag, the strawberry and the mix into a bag. Now, before I shut the bag, I did make sure that the bag was free of air. Didn't want a lot of air in there. Let me show you that again so you can see. So I added the ingredients. I put in a whole strawberry, and then I just smashed it up. I didn't want any large pieces there. The next thing I did was I added about as much alcohol as there was strawberry mixture, so half and half. I didn't mix it, I didn't stir it, but when I poured that alcohol into that bag, I isolated the DNA from the rest of the material. Now you can use a coffee filter. I used an old-timey sieve. And once I isolated that DNA, it rose to the top. And I was able to pull some of that off. That is actually DNA of a strawberry. Now, what am I going to do with it? I'm not really sure, but I did it. I was just like the doctors on Grey's Anatomy. So why do you think this happens? My wonder questions were, do you think that when the alcohol mixes with the DNA solution, which was our strawberries, our dishwashing liquid, our water, and our salt, that it doesn't mix? And that's why the DNA comes to the top? I wonder. Have you wondered a lot today? I have. Now, here's the cool thing. I am learning every moment I'm doing this stuff because I don't do this a lot. So for next week's fun, you need to prepare some items ahead of time. We're going to make rock candy. And you're probably thinking, how do you come up with these ideas? Well, I watched The Greatest Showman this week. Now, I probably watched it 50 times, but every time I watch it, it just makes me get excited about the circus. And when I think of circus, I think of elephants. And then I think of peanuts. And then I think of caramel peanuts. And then cotton candy. And then rock candy. And I can't get out to get it. So we're going to make our own. But the rock candy, you have to start now. So you're going to need some sugar, some water, a pot. Now you can boil this on the stove or you can put it in the microwave, but make sure you have your parents with you. Some wooden skewers. I didn't have those, but I had some really strong paper straws, almost like a cake pop straw. I used 4 types of food coloring. Well, actually, Oliver chose the colors. And we put those all together. And this is just a little preview because it's not finished yet. Now, you're going to find the directions on the internet somewhere for good rock candy, but I will give you a hint. Make sure that your rock candy solution is cool before you pour it into your containers. When you seed up your straws, and you'll find out what that means, make sure that they're completely dry before you put them into the rock candy solution. Now, we have to wait about a week. I looked this morning and it looks pretty good, but there's just a little bit of rock candy on it and we want that thing to be full. I decided to do 8 sticks, 2 in each container. I want you to keep a daily diary of what you see each day until next week. How much do you estimate that it's growing? Take photos with your camera or your phone or draw pictures of your progress. Bring it back with you next week as we make rock candy, cotton candy, and caramel pecans. Sounds good? I'm excited. So next week, it is Carnival Week. Share your photos, your ideas, and your creations on Twitter, and please tag me at Daisha92. I would love to see what you're doing.